IREN stock just had a massive day. On Monday, it surged 14.45%, climbing $7.29 to close at $57.75 per share. It's one of the biggest single-day moves we've seen from the stock in weeks, and it pushes IREN into new all-time high territory. In this video, we're going to unpack what's behind this explosive rally, why it's significant, and what investors should be watching as we head into the week. Over the past month, IREN has been on an incredible run. After breaking through the key $50 barrier late last week, the stock didn't just hold its gains, it accelerated. That's a rare sign of strength. Momentum traders call this confirmation, when a breakout level not only holds but attracts more buyers. Today's move is exactly that. It shows that the market believes the breakout is real, that the fundamentals are strong, and that the narrative around IREN's evolution from Bitcoin miner to AI infrastructure powerhouse is starting to gain real traction with investors. Let's start with the price action. Closing at $57.75 represents an all-time high for IREN and a gain of nearly 15% in a single session. That kind of move isn't typical. It usually means something deeper is happening, a shift in positioning, sentiment, or recognition of the company's growth trajectory. Over the past few sessions, volume has spiked dramatically as new investors have piled in and short sellers have been forced to cover. Technical traders were watching closely as IREN broke above $50 last week, and once it pushed through that resistance level, the next logical step was price discovery. In other words, the market was looking for a new fair value. Today's surge was that process unfolding in real time. Now, while there isn't one single news headline explaining today's rally, there's been a steady build-up of bullish developments that have created the perfect setup for a move like this. The most important driver remains the company's massive expansion of its AI Cloud GPU fleet. IREN recently doubled its GPU capacity to around 23,000 units, made up of NVIDIA's cutting-edge B200 and B300 Blackwell chips as well as AMD's MI350Xs. This expansion firmly positions IREN as one of the largest independent GPU cloud operators in the world. Management has guided for more than $500 million in annualized run-rate revenue from the AI cloud segment by the first quarter of 2026. That's a staggering projection for a company that, until recently, was known primarily for Bitcoin mining. The second key factor is credibility. IREN's partnership with NVIDIA as a preferred partner gives it access to GPUs that many other firms are still struggling to secure. This isn't just about having hardware, it's about positioning within the AI ecosystem. Being a preferred partner means IREN has NVIDIA's confidence, and that's a big deal for investors looking for companies that can actually deliver on AI infrastructure promises. The market has seen plenty of companies talk about AI, but few have the hardware and execution capability to back it up. IREN does, and that's helping to drive institutional interest. Another factor is the steady performance of its Bitcoin mining operations. Despite the company's pivot toward AI cloud, the mining business continues to generate strong cash flow. In August alone, IREN mined 668 Bitcoin, yielding around $50 million in hardware profit. That steady cash generation helps fund the AI build-out without diluting shareholders. It's a dual-engine model, AI growth on one side, mining profits on the other, and the combination provides stability as well as upside. Investors love that balance because it means growth is being financed internally rather than through excessive equity issuance. The analyst community is catching up to the story. Bernstein has maintained its $75 price target, highlighting IREN's unique exposure to both AI infrastructure and digital asset mining. IREN Research initiated coverage with a buy rating, pointing out that IREN's scaling of GPU capacity positions it as one of the few companies bridging crypto and cloud computing profitably. When analysts start reinforcing each other's bullish outlooks, it builds confidence across the market. Traders and funds that might have been hesitant before now see validation. There's also a powerful technical and psychological element at play. Short interest in IREN remains elevated at roughly 10 to 12% of the float. When the stock moves sharply higher, short sellers are forced to buy back shares to limit losses, which adds more buying pressure and creates what's known as a short squeeze. Combined with heavy call option activity, this can turn a normal rally into an explosive one. The same mechanics that helped propel Tesla and NVIDIA during their breakout phases can drive similar dynamics here. Once momentum kicks in, algorithms and momentum funds chase performance, adding even more volume. Macro conditions have been supportive too. The Federal Reserve recently cut interest rates by 0.25% and signaled that up to 0.75% in additional cuts could come this year. Lower rates tend to boost growth stocks by reducing the discount rate used in valuation models. They also improve liquidity conditions, encouraging investors to take on more risk. AI and GPU-related names have been among the biggest beneficiaries. NVIDIA, Supermicrocomputer, and other infrastructure stocks have been trending higher, and IREN is being grouped into that same category more and more. Beyond that, the broader AI narrative remains strong. Demand for high-performance compute is growing faster than supply. Every major cloud provider is scrambling to secure GPUs. Data centers are expanding capacity. Energy producers are negotiating new power agreements for AI workloads. All of these factors feed directly into IREN's story. It's positioned at the intersection of computing and energy, two industries that will define the next decade. Investors see this, and they're bidding up the stock in anticipation of future cash flows. From a valuation perspective, IREN's rise might look steep, but it's being supported by real business momentum. The company's execution has been impressive, and it continues to raise expectations without over-promising. That discipline has earned it credibility with institutional investors. Even when JP Morgan downgraded the stock recently on valuation concerns, the reaction was short-lived. The market shrugged it off, and now, just a few sessions later, IREN has pushed through that ceiling and set a new high. That kind of resilience is rare and speaks to strong underlying demand for the shares. For traders, the key levels now are 55 on the downside and 60 on the upside. 55 could act as short-term support given that it aligns with intraday lows from today's trading range. If the stock holds above that level through early week consolidation, it would confirm that buyers are defending their positions. On the upside, a clean move through 60 could open the path toward the $75 target that analysts have been calling for. Volume will be the tell. Sustained volume above recent averages means institutional buyers are still accumulating. Looking ahead, investors will be watching for any new announcements about AI cloud contracts or GPU deployment milestones. The more visibility IREN provides into monetization, meaning paying customers using their GPU infrastructure, the more confidence the market will have in those long-term ARR targets. On the mining side, monthly updates will also remain important. Stable or rising Bitcoin output and hash rates help reassure investors that the traditional business line remains strong and profitable. Of course, risks still exist. The company's expansion requires massive energy inputs and logistical coordination. Power costs could rise, and infrastructure delays could impact rollout timelines. Valuation risk is also present after such a big move. Stocks that run 15% in a day can easily retrace some of those gains. Investors should expect volatility. But at the same time, pullbacks in high-momentum names like IREN can also create new entry points for long-term holders. The most important thing is that the story remains intact. The breakout above 50 was confirmation of strength. Today's surge above 57 and into all-time high territory shows conviction. Investors aren't just buying a trade, they're buying a vision, a company with both real assets and exposure to the biggest technological theme of this decade. The fact that IREN continues to attract new institutional attention and retail enthusiasm suggests that the rally still has legs. So to sum up, today's 14.45% surge wasn't random. It was the result of technical breakout momentum, strong fundamentals, growing analyst confidence, macro support, and short covering. Together these forces created the perfect setup for a sharp move higher. The question now is whether IREN can consolidate these gains and push toward the next price targets around 60 and 75. With fundamentals aligned and sentiment turning decisively bullish, the stock appears to have the wind at its back. That's the latest on IREN's incredible Monday session. As always, thanks for tuning in. If you've been following this stock's transformation from miner to AI infrastructure player, it's been one of the most interesting stories in the market this year. Whether you're trading the short-term momentum or investing in the long-term vision, there's a lot to keep an eye on in the days ahead.